What's going on, good people? Rich here.
School in the building. What's happening?
Hi guys, it's it's your girl Ray Pete back on the mic.
Hey, that's the second week in a row you done try to hit us with the innocent. Hi, guys.
Yeah, cut it out.
It's
If you're a
because I'm
new
a
listener, do not be fooled.
liar.
Do not be fooled, man.
Please don't.
Uh, Welcome back to another episode of the Culture Garden Podcast. We appreciate y'all tuning in with us, joining us for another week. Always feels good to say that. Always feels good to look at both of y'all faces as we get to talk about a new movie. For everybody out there, we appreciate y'all. Please remember to like, subscribe, share. Our link tree is in our description of each episode. So if you go there, you can just click on it. You can find our social media page. You can find our YouTube page, our We Got Y'all page, which is the television feed for the Culture Garden Podcast. And obviously these episodes that you're listening to now. Leave us a comment, DM us, let us know what you think. Real quick. Well, before I get into that, I do want to say this is our first recording since the legendary, the icon, the bigger than life Tina Turner passed away. Anime Bullet passed away this past week, and we obviously did What's Love Got to Do with It around my birthday in January. And there's really no words to kind of sum up her life and her impact and her legacy, but it was definitely a sad day. Multiple generations felt that loss. Anytime we gain an ancestor, we can appreciate what their life taught us and the things that they left us with, but it's also just a sad day for them to depart. So I don't know if either one of you just wanted to make a brief comment or not, but like I said, it's hard to put it in words.
I was very, very, very sad. And to your point, we had covered What's Love Got to Do with It. Dang, January seems so long ago. And I text my little cousin who I used to babysit and make her watch it back to back every single day. Like, nigga, I'm extremely sad. Tina died. So I just want to send love to her family. Like, God rest her on her journey. I hope that she has the peace that she was lacking here on earth. If you watched the Max, I won't say HBO Max, but the Max documentary, Tina, even at where she was in life when that documentary came out, she spoke about how she didn't feel like all the good that she experienced outweighed all the bad in her life. So I just want to lift her up to her God and Buddha, and pray that she has peace on her travels and her journey to the other side.
Absolutely. I agree with both of you wholeheartedly, man. Tina's a legend, a very, very, very powerful Black woman, beautiful voice, just been through a lot. And like you said, I hope she finds that peace because she definitely deserves it. The world was not fair to her.
Kind.
In a lot of ways, but the things she gave to us can never ever be outweighed or outdone. So rest in power to Tina, man, a legend, an icon.
Absolutely. Well said about the both of you, man. Before we roll into today's episode, a couple of just housekeeping things. One, I told school about this. Rachel, I ain't talked to you about this yet. Shout out to Donovan, man, my brother D Hall. We were hanging on Sunday watching Game 7 of the Miami Boston series, and somehow or another we were talking about the podcast. We were talking about the life episode, and he was just giving us props, talking about how funny it was. And then he just all of a sudden just snapped and was like, "Hey, man, like what happened last week?" I'm like, "What you mean? Like focus?" He's like, "Yeah, where the intro?" And I was like, "Oh man, like when it's not like a culture movie, we trying to find some different." And he was like, "Hell nah, I go to that starts the podcast off the right way. I know, we all know." He started quoting this shit, and it was just a cool moment, man. But he snapped on me. He snapped on us for not having the intro in there.
Oh, he snapped on you.
Apologize.
She said he snapped on you. I stand corrected. He snapped on me. But it was just a funny moment. I don't know. I've heard people tell us about our intro and how much they love it.
Yeah.
Obviously, Beale Street Could Talk. The score is a part of our intro, which we're talking about today. But yeah, it was just a funny moment to discuss. We got y'all. I mentioned that we are wrapping up Succession. They just had the series finale this past Sunday. We'll have an episode release tomorrow evening, Friday morning, whenever you get to it. And we also started Run the World on Stars. Rachel and myself put out episode 1. Very good opener. Very good show. Very underrated show. So if you don't watch Run the World, it is worth the watch. 30-minute episodes. Very easy to get through. There's only 9 episodes ever created because they just started season 2. So like I said, catch up, join us over on We Got Y'all. And we also had a new release, kind of a new experiment that I was playing around with. We've talked about it a lot. We're big into the movie experience. We talk about first experiences and if we saw movies in the theaters. And I still go to the movies. School still goes to the movies. Yep. Rachel, I don't know how often do you still go to the movies?
I have to really want to see it.
Okay. So with everything changing and shifting to streaming, for those who do still go to the movie, I thought it was cool just to have like a 15-minute spoiler-free episode on anything that any of us saw over the weekend, or specifically my cousin Catherine, who joined me on the episode. She goes to the movies all the time and she posts her reviews. She's similar to us. So I thought it was going to be cool just to talk to her and get her experience about what she thought about The Little Mermaid and Blackberry were the 2 that she saw this past weekend. Okay. So I'm not going to say it's going to be weekly. There might be some weeks where there's nothing that comes out that anybody wants to see. But anytime we do have an experience, especially on a big film, we'll have a brief conversation. Like I said, it might be just one of us. It might just be me. It might be all of us. It'll vary from week to week. Just something we're playing around with. Would love to get y'all feedback on it. So check that out. It just drops on our regular Culture Garden feed. So if you have your alerts on, you can see it there. We're going to get into today's episode. You see the title. I've already mentioned that Beale Street Could Talk. I don't really know if spoilers are necessary this week. And to be honest, if you Black, you know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Whether you've seen this movie or not. So you kind of know how things are going to pan out. But it's such a beautiful film. There will be explicit content and a synopsis of the film. Obviously, it is based on the novel from the great James Baldwin. A young woman embraces her pregnancy while she and her family set out to prove her childhood friend and lover innocent of a crime he didn't commit. It is listed under the drama and romance category. Ray P.
Yes.
It was your week to choose.
Mm-hmm.
What made you want to go with If Beale Street Could Talk?
Number one, I couldn't think of anything.
Okay, fair.
Full transparency, but for real, I was perusing Netflix in my quest to find something, not necessarily for the show, but just as background noise for work since I wasn't traveling when we decided. And I was like, oh shit, here's If Beale Street Can Talk right here. Mm-hmm. I absolutely, as gut-wrenching and heartbreaking as this movie is, it's so beautiful. Yes. And I love it. I think I watch it almost every time I come across it. When it used to come on the premium channels, I would stop and watch. I made my family watch during quarantine when I was in Ohio for like 2 months. I just really, really love this movie. It's absolutely beautiful. The score is amazing. The soundtrack is amazing. If you're just like a music person, and again, also love to Jimmy Baldwin.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, without question. We'll later on, School and myself will talk about our first experience with the film, but we'll get into some stats first. It was released Christmas Day of 2018. It had a soft release in the select theaters, I believe, a couple weeks prior. And obviously it's an independent film, so it went to some festivals. I think it debuted in Toronto, but the national release was Christmas Day 2018. Directed by Barry Jenkins, also written by Barry Jenkins and James Baldwin. Like we said, this is a screenplay adapted from his novel. Barry Jenkins had just won an Oscar a couple years prior with Moonlight, so he kind of seemed like the perfect director for this film. I think that he did justice to it. His style, he has a very direct style as far as the camera work, his over-the-top angles, the way that the actors look into the screen, but they're not breaking the fourth wall. They're still talking to their characters. That's like one of his director trademarks. All of that played very well. The fact that it was non-linear, he did a really good job with it. They had a budget of an estimated $12 million, and it made $20.5 million worldwide. It is currently streaming on Netflix, and that is very impressive, if I must say, for an independent film about this, based on the James Baldwin film, to actually turn a profit.
Yep.
Film studios hate making independent or even picking them up because they don't make money. Anybody who's ever seen Entourage, Vinny Chase trying to get I forget what it was, the Brooklyn movie that he wanted to get done. They hated it. Y'all get what I'm trying to say. Yeah. As far as awards go, that award season, we might as well call it the Regina King Invitational.
Man, yeah.
So everybody who I could research that gave out an award for best supporting actress. All right, I researched all of this. There were 60 organizations, from the Academy Awards all the way to the Seattle Film Critics Society, the Iowa Film Critics Society. Like, I looked up everything. She was nominated 60 times.
Period.
For best supporting actress. How many times do you think she won out of those 60? What'd you say, School?
40.
Right, P?
45.
I'm about to say, you about the Price is Right on. Go 41. 44 out of 60.
Damn.
Listen, I can't explain. I won't have the proper words to explain how insane that percentage is. To win 44 out of 60 of the awards that you were nominated for. Ironically, she didn't win the NAACP Image Award.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, she did not win that one. That's funny. She I forget her name. I can't say. I'm gonna mispronounce it. But the woman from Black Panther, Denai, I believe is how you pronounce her first name.
Oh, okay.
She won that award. I just thought it was funny. But 44 out of 60. Award season is like baseball. If you're familiar with baseball, if you bat 300, that's 3 out of 10. That's 30%. If you're doing well, you're going above and beyond. If you only performing 30% of the time, for her to get 44 just lets you know how much she killed it. Like, that is incredible. Obviously, I mentioned she won the Academy Award for this, so she got an Oscar for the film. She won a Golden Globe. She swept damn near every large award show, Black Reel Awards, everything but the NAACP Image Award. As far as other awards for this film, it won Best Feature at the Film Independent Spirit Awards. It was nominated for Best Motion Picture at the Golden Globes. It won the AFI, American Film Institute Movie of the Year. Best Adapted Screenplay at the Critics' Choice Award. Barry Jenkins won that. Outstanding Actress at the Black Reel Awards. Kiki Lane, Cincinnati's very own.
Cincinnati.
Outstanding Score at the Black Reel Awards. Nicholas Brittle, goes back to what you said. Beautifully scored. Guys, listen, our intro with Denzel, even though Denzel was talking about fences, the score is from A Beale Street Could Talk, and it's beautiful. Outstanding Cinematography at the Black Reel Awards.
Beautiful.
James Laxton, cinematography was on point. And we had the Outstanding Independent Motion Picture at the NAACP Image Awards. As far as the cast goes, we have Kiki Lane as Tish Rivers. Is it Stephen or Stephen?
Stephen.
Is it Stephen James?
I think it's Stephen.
Stephen.
Okay, Stephen James as Alonzo Fonnie Hunt. Quick question. I just want to speak to any casting directors out there in Hollywood. There is a very clear father-son like casting thing that needs to happen. Like, when I see Stephen, I see a very clear person in Hollywood that should play his dad in something. Can either one of you guess who I'm thinking of?
No.
To me, it looks dead on. I might be crazy.
No.
Russell Hornsby. I see him and Russell Hornsby, and especially at the very opening scene, like the face he made.
Yeah,
it's very Russell Hornsby-ish. I'm like, that could be some kind of father-son thing. I don't know.
I can see that.
Okay.
I might be crazy. Like I said, I might be crazy. I just saw it. Regina King as Sharon Rivers, Tiana Paris as Ernestine Rivers, Coleman Domingo as Joseph Rivers, Ebony Obsidian as Adrian Hunt, Dominique Thorne as Sheila Hunt, Michael Beach as Frank Hunt, Anjanae, the incomparable Anjanae Ellis Taylor as Mrs. Hunt.
Yes.
Brian Tyree Henry as Daniel Carty, Dave Franco as Levy, and Pedro Pascal as Pietro Alvarez. Very top heavy with the cast. A lot of these actors only had 1 or 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Ones who were in the film. Everybody did their thing from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Whether you did one scene or you were in all of them. It was such a beautiful film, like you said, Rachel. We'll get into the origin a little bit. I mentioned that it was based off of his fifth novel, James Baldwin. He released it in 1974. So obviously this film was based in the 70s, and for it to be still relevant in 2023, 2018 when it released, I can't say it's insane, but it is kind of insane when you think of it in that manner. Barry
Yeah.
Jenkins wrote the screenplay in 2013, same year that he wrote Moonlight. And this is James Baldwin's third novel to be adapted into film after Go Tell It on the Mountain and I Am Not Your Negro. It's the first James Baldwin novel to focus exclusively on a Black love story and the only one to be narrated by a woman. And to me, it just shows the importance of telling our stories.
Absolutely.
When you talk about history and who's keeping the history and who's telling it, we have to be our ones telling this. That's why it's always, school can vouch for this too. We cherish the times we were able to sit with our grandparents and hear stories from them and our aunts. That stuff passes down. Those recipes pass down. Everything. That's a way of keeping our ancestors alive. They still live through us. So I think this film had James Baldwin all over it, and I think it's very impressive by Barry Jenkins. Obviously, he pulled from that inspiration, but to take his work and kind of see him on screen without seeing him, I think it's very impressive. Very impressive.
I agree 110% because if you know anything about Mr. Baldwin, he just don't like everybody fucking with his work and doing anything with his stuff. So
as he shouldn't.
Yeah, Barry Jenkins did a beautiful job, and I think that if Mr. Baldwin was around, he would be very impressed and very proud. So,
School. My bad, Rachel. We gonna say something?
No, I was just agreeing with School. Yeah.
School. We can just roll it right into you. Let's talk about first experiences.
My first experience was during quarantine. During quarantine, I definitely put this on, and the George Floyd situation was going on. This movie hit hard. It hit hard. I definitely shed a couple tears the first time I watched this movie. Definitely. So
I can understand that with that time. Rachel, what about your first experience?
I actually saw this in the theaters. Ironically enough, again, something that I want to see, the cast, and then just knowing the history of the book. And so I was excited. So I actually did take my ass to the theater to see this.
Okay.
Nice. I did not see it in the theaters. I saw it before quarantine. I don't think I could have watched it in quarantine. But I definitely saw it around 2019. It was at home. And I actually, it was right after Regina won the Oscar. Right around that time. I'm like, all right, let me check this out because I've been slipping. And just thought it was the most beautiful and heartbreaking thing at the same time. Like I didn't know, I can't think of too many other films that can be as equally beautiful as it is sad and tragic. It was made for us, you know what I mean? It was written for us. There is this morning, on some real shit, this morning, I texted both of you individually and told you that I love you.
Yep.
You did.
Watching this film makes you want to wrap your arms around your people.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like that sense of community and that we all we got, that just bled through this film. And I can always appreciate the art that's just for us. This is for us, y'all. Like this is an experience, a shared experience that we can all relate to. There's so much pain that Black folks carry from generation to generation. So many unthinkable things that have happened that can't be explained. So much hurt that we all conceal individually. So many things that are never going to be said out loud. And when you can kind of relate to that and understand it, maybe not explain exactly why it's that way, but as Black people, we all have an understanding, and we're just trying to get better. And they have certain lines and quotes in this film about children and the next generation that we'll get to. We can all just relate to it. Like I said, it just takes a toll, man. This world isn't fair, and it's just a beautiful film. And the opening words by James Baldwin on screen. Like every Black person born in America was born on Beale Street. Like it just resonates so much, man. Like I said, we share that unique bond and that trauma. Trauma bonds are real, and I think every Black person who's American born can share in that. Ray P.
Yes.
Classic or not?
Yes.
Okay. School.
Yeah.
Oh, my fault, Ray.
Oh, I was gonna say it may be not for the typical reasons that we deem something a classic,
Mm-hmm.
because even though it had box office success, I don't know a lot of people who aren't movie heads or weren't forced to watch it, like who've seen this movie and
Mm-hmm.
seen it multiple times at that.
Mm-hmm.
But because of the story that it tells, because of how beautifully it's told, it is
Mm-hmm.
a classic to me.
Well said.
I'm gonna agree 110%. It's a classic, and it goes into the realm of the Just Mercies,
Mm,
the Hate You Give, those, as far as those movies that only certain people can relate to,
yeah,
meaning
Mm-hmm.
us. This is a classic. I mean, am I gonna watch this back to back to back? No, absolutely not, because there's that trauma. But this is a classic. This is a movie that I'm going to sit my daughter down and we're going to watch this movie when she's able to process this movie.
mm,
Yeah,
So yeah.
that's understood. It's certainly a classic. The novel's a classic.
Yep.
What they did with the film is, I agree with both of you as far as, of course, it's not something that you're going to watch frequently.
Mm-hmm.
But when it is on, I will watch it.
yeah,
There are moments where I'll definitely pull from certain scenes or just want to kind of sit down because, as I mentioned earlier, it does put you in a space of ultimately, I want to, I want to, I want to love on my people.
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
So sometimes if you lose sight of that, it's a good reminder of what it took for us to even get here and to the
Yeah.
point we are now. And I talked about the balance that it has. I really just appreciate the fact that as deep as it is and as much pain as in it, it's equally amount of joy.
Mm-hmm.
You
yes,
get what I'm saying? Like the
Yep.
love was so real.
Yep.
Like
hmm,
only a way James Baldwin can kind of write it.
Yep.
yeah,
Um, it was just so real, and it was just. I'm glad we got that. It wasn't just sad. This was real, genuine shit, and it was
Mm-hmm.
yeah,
deep in a whole lot of layers. But it's a classic. It's a classic for sure.
Yep.
And it's hard to be a classic within 5 years, but I think it falls.
hmm,
Ray P, let's
yes.
get some best scenes. So the
Okay,
way we'll do this, as always, Ray P, you'll go ahead and start. School, you'll go back and forth. I'll just chime in and my two thoughts if I have anything specifically to say, and we'll just take it from there. So Ray P, let's lead us off.
let's get into it. So, I have told y'all, despite popular belief, I really am a lover girl. So I'm gonna get us right into the opening of Tish describing she and Fonnie, their relationship and the love that they have for each other. Because even if you haven't read the book, it sets you up for what this movie is going to be essentially about, what you're going to see. So, even though there is trauma, you are setting yourself up and preparing yourself for what is going to be a beautiful love story. So,
Yep.
I'll stop there.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. School, what you got?
I'm gonna go to the scene where Tish tells Fonnie that she's pregnant.
Mm,
When she reveals to him that our love has created more love. You know
mhm.
what I mean? And also the moment where he realizes he might not be there to see his son or daughter be born, but
Yeah.
she still gives him that love, that strength. I still love you. I'm still going to be here. We're not going anywhere. Just
And I'm telling you first.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
First person I'm telling. And you can, and that's deep because you see the relationship she had with her family.
Right.
Like, man, powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Ray P, what you got next?
Okay, well, we here. So I'm gonna go to Tish telling both families that she's pregnant.
Mm.
I love the beauty in her
Yeah.
telling her family,
Mm-hmm.
just even how Coleman Domingo, her father, who I love and adore,
I love him.
He's incredible. He
Yes.
is phenomenal.
incredible, incredible. Just how he is like, now wait a minute, are you sure? And just
Mm-hmm.
the way that she is affirmed by her family,
Yes.
juxtaposed against when Fonnie's family
Mm.
comes in. like a wrecking ball, no pun, you know. I love that shit. It was so beautiful. So I guess because that is two very distinctly different scenes within a few minutes of each other, but I loved them both equally, but for different reasons. You know, when Fonny's family came, I love the drama, the chaos. As somebody who comes from a, I don't want to call him a religious zealot, but
Hey man, call it how you see it.
but somebody who is very familiar with that kind of religiosity. Amber, I'm not advocating violence, but for folks that's left out of her for cursing their grandchild. Now that ain't just his baby, his grandson. You know, Fonny is also her son.
Right.
But when your mind is gone, you say some fucked up things, you know.
That's
so,
right.
So here we are. I love both of those scenes, or that.
Yes, I love that scene too. My favorite, I'm just gonna stick to your scene. My favorite part of that scene is Ernestine. Ernestine lets her know, keep your head high, baby. We got this. You don't have to worry about a thing. You feel me? Don't bow your head, none of that shit. And then once, you know, Fonzie mom disrespects her and she stands up for her sister, cusses her out, does everything. Yeah. And the crazy part is, if you know anything about Black families, one thing you don't do is curse in front of your mom. But even moms was like, you know, Ernestine, that's it. You know, Ernestine, cut that out.
It was warranted.
It was warranted. Yeah. Absolutely.
I loved Ernestine in this film.
Oh yes.
In the book, she's a much, like, you learn so much more about her in the book.
Yeah.
But what they use her for in this film, I think, served a complete purpose. It was incredible. I just want to chime in because I do love those scenes as well. When she told her family initially, I love the love that you saw between Sharon and Joe. Is it Joe?
Yes.
Yeah. Make sure it's not John. Yeah, Joe. Sorry. The love that they just had and the relationship and the chemistry that they had, you can tell that their daughters were raised around love and saw love. You mentioned that earlier, Rachel, but sometimes when you get into these pieces, especially with these Black men in the 60s and 70s and just what was going on in society, a lot of them might have been coming back from a war, just life not being good to them. And a lot of that anger being taken out on the family, on the wife, to see a loving father in the 70s. It was just refreshing and good to see. Like I said, I'm not even shaming or knocking others. Because like I said, life has its own toll on everybody. But it was, as a viewer, to see that and to see that beautiful, healthy relationship. Like I said, in contrast to what we get on the other side. And also, the big family one is, I don't know, man, just that difference between class, that difference between, I think I'm better than you. Obviously, Ernestine and their family, they didn't fuck with Fonny at all,
right?
Which is kind of messed up. You know, I couldn't understand.
Wait, not Ernestine's family. Ernestine, you mean?
I'm sorry, I mean Adrian's family and them.
Yeah.
Both of them were just incredible. School, you hit the nail on the head as far as the Ernestine standing up for her sister. Obviously, the mom saying, if you give people hatred, they give it back to you. When she's speaking to Frank, that was ironic because she was doing the same thing.
That
which is why she got the backhand. Like I said, not advocating violence, but just, you can tell from the reaction, that was just how life operated.
Yeah.
Even when Joe was trying to help, like, nah, we don't need you here. You go. They went to go drink.
Yeah.
So yeah, just wild, man. And obviously it's in my best quotes. We'll get to it later.
It's, to your point, to piggyback, it's very interesting how highbrow they thought that they were, considering Frank very much seemed like a nigga's nigga. And sometimes it is different, the dad still hang out his words, I'm hip,
Mhm.
so that was very interesting to me because obviously Fonny is like his father, and the girls have sort of followed in their mother's
Yeah,
footsteps.
he's that dad that doesn't go to church with the family.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yep.
mean?
Exactly.
For
He's
sure.
staying at home having a beer.
Exactly. Watching the
Or
game.
something else, some cognac.
Yeah, he ain't trying to hear nothing. He said something about it. Damn sure ain't the Holy Ghost. Like you can tell as hell. Like that whole relationship. And it just goes to show how people view marriage and
Yeah.
this, getting divorced was just out of the question.
Yeah,
Because how
absolutely.
did y'all even get together? So at some point
Yep. You already know.
we were
She went to
aligned.
church always.
Exactly. Exactly
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, and the
Exactly.
book had a lot more choice language for the scene as well. But you got
Yeah.
the point. It was
Yeah.
a little bit more. But yeah, absolutely. Ray, what you got next?
Um, I'm gonna jump around. I'm gonna skip to Tish and Fonny's first date. Because it's nothing like seeing somebody in their environment. She made a point to say, I know how he is around me, around us, but I've never seen him operate in his world how he is.
Hmm.
And just watching him sort of be smooth and debonair, he comes from whatever family he comes from, but to know that at one point he lived on the streets because he didn't want to deal with that shit. Like, I slept out here. I don't want to go. I ain't want to wake y'all up. Like, Fonny, in that moment, we learned that he is very self-assured,
Yes.
and on his own path. He, I guess, like Frank, is a hustler. I'm
Hmm.
gonna figure it the fuck out, which we see with so many black people, anyways, especially
Mm,
black men. Like, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna make it shake. It might not
Yep.
be comfortable, it might not be glamorous, but here it is. So I just like that. And again, lover girl. Yes, take me out to dinner.
mhm.
Um,
School, you gonna comment on that scene?
no, well, my scene is kind of piggybacking off of that.
I
Just
got a quick. Let me get a quick comment in about what she just said because I have this down on my best quotes. I just want to read it real quick. I had never seen Fonny outside the world in which I moved. I had seen him with his father and his mother, and I had seen him with us. I had certainly never seen him in the world in which he moved. Inviting someone to your world in your
Mhm,
space, not a shared world, but this is my world, and I'm
hmm.
letting you in here. Is just so intimate. We talk
mhm.
about the beauty of the love story. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Noticing that you're in that world without even knowing you were invited is even just as more special.
Yes.
Mhm.
And you kind of get lost in it. And the fact that they've known each other since they were kids
Yeah.
and they're still learning things about each other,
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought was beautiful.
Hmm.
Like I thought that was just beautiful. So I specifically had that written down because that's a special, unique type of love that don't even seem strong enough for it. It's a different type of connection between people,
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that between these two characters, and I loved it. Go ahead, School.
My next scene is when Frank and Joseph go to the bar.
Yeah.
Um, there's also goes back to what you were saying, just that bond and how this isn't really their responsibility, but it really is. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Fonny's in jail. This is my
Mhm,
daughter. This is my son. We got to figure this out. Let's sit back, have a
mhm.
drink, and figure out how we gonna pay for these legal expenses and this grandchild that we got coming on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they sat back and bonded outside of that drama because that's
Mhm.
all that was to them was just drama. Like we got to
Right.
figure this out. No matter how you guys feel about this baby, he or she is coming. You know what I mean? Let's figure this
Mhm.
out. And that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Absolutely. I got that as a scene too, Scoop.
I
Go
about to
ahead.
say there's just a couple quotes in that scene that
Yeah.
Yeah.
just touch on, man. We can't fuck up. You ever have any money? And
Nope.
why you worried about it now?
Yep.
If that ain't just
Hmm.
the fucking
Yeah.
truth.
That's it.
You know what I mean? We always find a way.
Yep.
Like you start
Find
thinking
a
about that
way.
shit now, we fucked.
Yep.
Mm,
And I loved how he told him, like, you want me to beat the shit out of you? What do I have to do to make sure you realize we have a child coming in this world?
yeah.
Hmm.
There's a direct quote where he said, I can steal and rob. How you think I raise my daughters? I
Man.
know some hustles and you know some hustles. These are
Hmm.
our children and we got to set them free.
That's it.
That's
Just the
it.
love of a parent. It
Mhm.
shined throughout this film. And that quote itself, Emphasizes it. But yeah, that black man,
Yes.
nigga, we ain't got to. If we believe it, it's gonna happen.
Facts.
Straight up, and that's anything in life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. So I'm gonna go to Tish, and it's not because of what we see on the screen. I mean, I guess in part, but just more so the narration of it. But Tish breaking down how Fonnie couldn't have raped Mrs. Rogers, just because there is something about us setting the story up and making it plain. And so I just really, really love that.
I can feel that.
I'm in New York now, so
yeah. You feel connected, and you're in Harlem, which is where they were at.
Not today. I'm in Midtown today. I'll be in Harlem on Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
School, what you got?
The night Tish is harassed by a man while in a white grocery store. I mean, she gets assaulted, and that's where you meet Officer Beale, who is about to change Fonnie's life forever. And that's how quickly your life can change. If you don't know that, specifically as a black man or woman, you gain enemies of the police, and they can say whatever at any time. And especially in those days, they word was it. If they said you stole something, or you harassed someone, or you did this, you did it. So
to your point, School, it's almost even, and when you watch the film, it's surprising that the officer still didn't arrest him.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's still surprising. Every time I watch it, I'm like, if he wanted to, he could have got that off.
Yeah, absolutely. And eventually he did. So, man.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Fonnie breaking down in prison, and not because it's beautiful or anything, but just because of the performance. And we are seeing how these few months in jail are starting to wear on him. When we first time we see him behind the glass, he's still kind of jovial, he's still playful, he's still hope. But the more Tish goes, we see him sort of posture change. We see the light inside of him sort of dimming, So I just really love that. And I've never been, but jail is hard and scary. And even though but even though he's from a hustler's family, like that ain't the life he set out for neither. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't somebody who was in trouble, even though we know he stole them tools, but hustler. But he wasn't prepared for, if you can ever be, or bred for any life in prison, So just that. And then the way that Tish still finds a way behind them 6 inches to be supportive and affirming of him.
Yes.
While he is in a place she's never seen him in. He's never been.
Right. Absolutely. It's beautiful.
You know what's happening to me? To me in here?
Yeah.
That shit break me every time.
Yeah.
Losing it. I'm gonna go to the scene where they're apartment hunting.
Levy?
Yes, with Levy, yes. Okay. Tish and Fonnie are apartment hunting, and as we know in these times, it was tough being black, and it was really tough trying to get an apartment or do anything. So they luckily found Levy, and he was a Jewish guy, and he was very nice. And you can tell that Tish still was like, I don't know about this. And Fonnie did something that was amazing. He made her picture what we about to do. Like, just have some faith in me, baby. That's all I need from you. And I'm gonna get us a washer, a stove. I'm gonna build all this up. This is gonna be the most beautiful place you've ever seen with your two eyes. That man was great. He did such an amazing job in convincing her that I can make this into our home where we can raise children and so on and so forth. Man.
What Ray Gibson say in life? If a man think it's so he she or see or some shit like that. Y'all read the Bible?
Y'all read the Bible?
You said it. You said everything, School. Like them even faking picking up that fridge and moving it. Like, baby, come with me. Like,
yes,
we got each other. Like, we good. Like, trust me, we gonna make this shit shake. just a leader, man.
Yep.
Just leading. Just telling you, man, I got you.
Yep.
You believe him. Like, you know he's not gonna let nothing bad happen to Tish.
Absolutely.
No.
You get what I'm saying? You know that. And I just want to put my 2 cents in that scene. Catching a break. That's when they get down on the street. And that just, you can't hold that excitement and you just gotta yell it.
Yeah.
Because you've been told a million times and you finally get somebody. All it takes is one. And when you get that one, it just changes your one yes, man. And it just changes your life. And that's just excitement. And like I said, life is just hard. It's unfair to our people. And when you catch a break and you find somebody that's decent, they were even shocked, like, yo, like, why you going out your way to be nice to us, color folk? Like, man, I love love. I love people in love. Like, they just found the right one.
Yes.
It's dope. It's dope.
Did you think he was gay? Or just like Levy?
I didn't read into it or so. I don't think I really even thought about it.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm thinking of Dave Franco every time I see him. I'm not thinking of Levy. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm just like, oh, that's Dave Franco. Like,
yep.
It's not a scene you would think of him in. So maybe that's why he took a little bit away from the character in a weird way.
Because it's just his voice, like his
you know,
his personhood.
And
he did a good job, but it's still Dave Franco.
Yeah.
Them damn sandals.
Hey man, that's how they got down.
I am going to move to us meeting Daniel or Brian Tyree Henry.
Yeah.
He is
another all-star.
An all-star.
Hey.
But seeing him on screen and how excited he and Fonnie were to see each other, and even though he was older, and Tish said something in the narration, like, they were already losing friends. So consider the 70s. You're losing friends to the war. You're losing friends to drugs, jail, just life. You know what I'm saying? So to be that excited to see a childhood friend and acquaintance, a friendly face, and for them to essentially take him in because he's straight out of jail. You know what I'm saying? So I just love that, and seeing the camaraderie and later finding out essentially the foreshadowing of what's to come of Fonnie's fate. But I loved all of that. I thought that he was electric on screen. I held my breath as he told or retold essentially what it's like to be in jail. So yeah.
Man, so good. He was, just to piggyback off that, he was amazing in that. He made me feel like they were old friends, old pals. And I also really loved the fact that he told Fonnie, like, you got a good one, bro. Like, she's amazing. He made little, when we gonna get something to eat and little jabs like that. And she was on it, man. She's a great woman, and he knew it, and he let him know, like, keep her by your side. I'm out in these streets, and I see what's out here, and this ain't it. So keep that woman by your side. So that's dope.
This scene, I probably got the most notes for.
Okay.
I love this scene. From the intro of them seeing each other on the street, that very specific line, even though we shouldn't have been spinning it, he put him in the cab and brought us up unexpected.
Yeah.
So we know, like, this is somebody that's very close to me. We know the type of bond that they have. Tish is down. The conversation. This country hate niggas.
Yeah.
That was just a deep conversation. We discussed it a few times in this episode, but you guys get what I'm saying about getting in the house or trying to find a loft and, they'll rent to a leper before they rent to a black person.
Man.
One of my favorite moments in this entire film. And it's, I know I've been saying beautiful a lot. When Fonnie is sitting there talking about he wish he could have enough money to leave the country, and making the joke that Tish can't swim, and Daniel made a comment like, you should just go first, and he was just kind of like, man, nah, like, I can't leave Fonnie. Just that look he had, and he had a quote, man, I know I might be a weird type of cat, but I got two things in life. I got my wedding stone and I got Tish. Without them, I'm lost. I know that. Like, beautiful, just like that's the way. Like, that's the way I would want someone to describe me. Like, I'm lost.
I can't even give him a come see about me because he ain't leaving.
No.
Right, you can't even give it to him. He ain't leaving. Like, you know, like even from the time, I don't know if we'll discuss this scene. I know I have it down just to mention, but their first time making love.
I do have that as a
You
scene.
get what I'm saying? What he told her. You
Mm-hmm.
believe that. Like, he's not running no game. He loved that woman.
Yep.
Like, so, and the fact that Daniel was just on some like, you lucky, you ain't weird. Like, I ain't got nothing like that. And people look their whole lives for that kind of connection. And sometimes they even have it and let it go and don't even know what they had, and they lose it. So it's never the same. A whole lot. But that's just pure, genuine love that I don't even know how to function without this person. I thought that was crazy. Like, his purpose was right there in two things: my wetting stone and Tish. Like, this is what I'm on this planet for. Like, if I ain't got neither one of these, then what the fuck are we doing?
That's a fact.
Like, that was just incredible to me. Also, the biggest thing to me is how, especially as a black man getting older, the vulnerability in the conversations that you approach your friends with.
Yes.
Rachel and myself, I just mentioned earlier, we were doing Run the World on Stars, and there's a scene in the first episode of season 2 where, you know, one character is trying to get, you know, their mutual friends back together, and the guy hadn't mentioned anything to his friends about what happened or the girl, and she, you know, the other woman was like, "So what do y'all talk about?" He was like, "Basketball." And I was joking, like, you know, a lot of times we'll keep everything surface until it's specifically brought up.
Yeah.
The fact that Afani invited him to his home, gave him his smokes, gave him his beer, and then opened his heart on some like, man, I know you see where we at, but we've been trying to do this and we can't get anything done. We can't get an apartment. He felt so comfortable, and Afani was so vulnerable with him that he ended up telling him at that moment, like, I just got out the slammer.
Yep.
I don't know if he even had any intentions of doing that, but it started flowing. Yeah. I find myself now, if I approach a group with the conversation, Rachel, you know my line, you know, Army, we do that a lot. Well, we'll just have some real ass combos, and it all just starts with somebody's being open and vulnerable about some shit that, oh shit, like, you know, me and school have had those combos. You know, I have them with Rachel all the time. Like, Rachel's like low key my therapist. But I just love that it showed that, like, the more you can't heal what you don't reveal.
That's a fact.
Once again, there's a whole bar for everything. But this scene just showed that beautiful bond of black men. Not what we're always stereotyped to be, or what the quote unquote cool images be, you know, with the guns and the like. Just know, like, we are two black men trying to make it. We care about our family. We family men. We want to do right in this world. I just thought it was incredible from a brother standpoint.
Yep.
Like, that's man, it was dope. It was dope to see. And like you said, Brian Tyree Henry, his description, that's also another thing I can relate with, because when Fonny like tapped his shoulder and was like, "Hey man, it's good. You home now. You young."
Yeah.
And Daniel's response was how I feel, and it makes me uncomfortable when I try to console people, especially about shit that I don't know about. He said, I hear what you're saying, man, and I appreciate it, but you don't know. You don't know.
Yeah.
Right. And if you haven't been through whatever that person's going through,
you don't know.
You don't know. The same way at the end of the film when we run into the Victoria, who accused Fonny of the rape. When she told Regina King's character, one thing I can tell, you've never been raped.
Yeah.
She had nothing to say.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That scene was incredible. I got all my notes.
Dang, I don't want to what you just said was so profound. But I guess I'll go to, because we already touched on it, Fonny and Tish's first time having sex, their first night together. It was so beautiful. And to your point, I'm not going to say beautiful again this episode. I have to think of another adjective.
Right, but it is. That's what it is. So you can just overuse it. It's beautiful.
He said, "I want you to get used to me." And when I tell you that is erotic, that is something so intentional to say. And as we see later on down the line, that she did in fact get used to him, baby inside. You know, the scenes were very different from the first time to the last time we see them together in such an intimate way. So I just want to talk about that and what it's like as your love grows for somebody. You know, first time you're nervous, you're anxious, and Fonny is 3 years older than her. So while it was Tish's first time, it likely wasn't Fonny's. You know what I'm saying? Right. So having the wherewithal to know to be gentle with her and to maybe not release all your power that first go round, to keep it really intimate and sweet before it gets to where else it can go. I really, really love that. And again, shot beautifully, all of those scenes with them sharing intimate space.
Right.
I've never ranked the best love scenes in films, but I think this has to be up there.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's got to be up
Yeah.
there. There's some beautiful purity about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we said, that genuine love. So I'm glad you mentioned that scene. School, what you got?
My last one that I have is, of course, Sharon traveling to Puerto Rico. There's nothing, we've talked about it on this pod a lot. There's nothing like a mother's love. You know, Sharon was the ultimate mother. She showed that time and time again that she's there for Tish, Ernestine, Joseph, whoever needs her, whatever they need her to be.
Fonnie, like that, she's down in Puerto Rico for her, not her son.
Yes.
I mean, it's her daughter too at the same time, but yeah.
Yes, she's down there for Fonnie, and she's doing her best to think about that. She went to another country to try to find a lady from, you know, the word of mouth, and you know, it's the 670s, so ain't no telling what she had to go through to finally find this woman and try to get her to recant her statement about being raped, some trauma. Like that's crazy, you know. That's when you really think about it. And she attempted with everything she had, and when she realized that she wasn't going to be able to do it, all she could do was cry, because she knew she had to go home and look her daughter in her eyes and tell her, there's nothing I can do. You know, that's just, that scene, man, that breaks me down every time, man, every time.
Absolutely. I think she actually made it worse in the lower keys.
Oh, word.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Not in Going.
Yes.
But I understand what she was trying to do.
Yes.
But trying is also an excuse for failure.
Yes.
So when Miss Rodriguez, when she says, I can tell you've never been raped, again, Sharon can't combat that because thankfully, or prayerfully, she hasn't. That's not been her lot in life. However, to go from that to then touch her cross,
yes,
I'm somebody who has been violated in my body. Why you touching me? Even after I said stop and don't touch me. And I understand, I'm trying to relate to you with the body of Christ. You know, I'm trying to relate to you on a spiritual level, but my body has been violated. You're here dusting up trauma that I'm very clearly not over. And now you're touching me. Get your fucking hands off of me. And now I'm having a breakdown.
Mental breakdown.
Crisis.
Man.
And I know that wasn't the intention, but to me, that is what ended up happening. I want to get into a scene, and we kind of jumped over it, but I want to get into Ernestine and Tish talking at the restaurant, because we're backtracking, but we don't see it. We saw them be sisterly at the house, but we don't have a whole lot of scenes with them together. So I just liked that we got to see them happy, you know, even though Ernestine wasn't necessarily delivering good news, but just to see, we see another aspect of their relationship and what it's like not in the house. Like, we joke, we laugh. I'm here for you. I'm looking out. These are my connections, but you know, so
yeah, they're not just siblings, they're friends.
They're friends. Exactly. Absolutely. You said that was your last one, School?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just say,
I'm about to say, you got some more, Rachel. I got a couple quick hitters that happened earlier in the film.
Okay. I'm just gonna say the baby being delivered.
Yeah, go ahead.
That was it. Just because life and being delivered at home, there is something special about that. Your mother helping you deliver your baby. I think we're sort of starting to get back to home births and this, that, and the third. And I'm sure that wasn't by design, quote unquote. That might have just been, what the fuck we got going on? We have this baby here, you know? There's that. I like the perfume scene and Tish differentiating between what Black men will do if they're trying to respect you and what white men do, and just the differences.
That
Um,
fantasy as well. That fantasy holding the hands forever. Yeah, that's a
exactly,
yeah,
exactly. Just a respect thing, and
the over sexualization of black women.
right, and the lack of autonomy you have, especially as a young black woman, but even in the profession that you chose or were lucky to get, you know what I'm saying, especially in your predicament. And then just the last scene, even though it was sad, we see Fonnie took the plea and
Yeah.
has been in jail for 5 years at this point. Just how cute little Alonzo was, and
Mm-hmm.
she's still holding him down. Ooh,
Yeah, it's
God
rough.
bless her.
Definitely rough. Like I said, you kind of know, you know how it's gonna go before you even see
Yeah.
it. And they beautifully said, not beautifully. It's not beautiful at all, but they said it very well. Um, like most black men, they in a predicament where they have to take a plea agreement. Like that's the
Right.
only option, and the system's set up for that. So, I got a couple quick hitters. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on them. Sharon and Tish in the kitchen. The
Mhm.
very first time we see Sharon, her knowing that her daughter was pregnant, that mother intuition, that woman intuition,
Yep.
Mhm.
um, her simply saying yes, baby, and that saying everything. I just thought that was our perfect introduction to who Sharon was, and a
Yeah.
big reason as to why Regina King went on to win this Oscar.
Mhm.
We talked about Tish at the perfume store.
Mhm.
One beautiful moment. All right, hold on. Not beautiful. Delicate
Aesthetically
moment.
pleasing? Okay.
One delicate moment
Mhm.
that I loved was when Tish is really, further along in her pregnancy and she's having these pains and her dad comforts her.
Yes.
Mhm.
Man, oh man, like that makes me want to shed a tear.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just because he is so just gender roles were still a thing. I don't even know if they're still a thing now, but definitely in the 70s they were.
Mhm.
Well, I think
And
I think the best part about that is from the earlier scene where she tells him she's pregnant. You as a viewer still don't know how he feels. It kind of seems like maybe he's going with the wife, but that confirmed that
Mhm.
he loved his daughter and this baby. He didn't care about any of that.
yeah,
Whatever
Yeah.
you need from me as a father, you need to lay your head on my chest. Come on, baby, I got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they did a good job and Domingo did a good job. I felt that when he told her up front, like, I don't want you to think I think you're a bad girl. You're just young. I
Mm-hmm.
really, as soon as he said, I hope it's a boy, I just really felt he was down with it.
Yeah.
The wig scene, that kind of code switching. How am I going to be comfortable? How do I relate? Just black women in the hair. That
Mhm.
was, I think, a great scene. And then Pedro Pascal, his scene as well.
Yeah.
In the restaurant, he only had one, but he delivered as always. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
um, man, just that relentlessness of a mother trying to help her daughter and to help her
Mm-hmm.
family and help her community, especially when they know. I think the biggest thing, we all know that Fonnie was innocent, so
Yeah.
that's even takes it further.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all I really had for scenes. Let's get in the best quotes. Who wants to start us out?
Okay. Again, intro. I hope that nobody has ever had to look at anybody they love through glass. Um, White boy, been to law school, got them degrees. I tell you what that mean. It don't mean shit. Um, who's gonna be responsible for this baby? You can bet it. You can bet it won't be the holy damn ghost, cause nigga. And who you funky niggas think you are? Love that. Um, I am you dried up yellow cunt. That is very funny to say to somebody. My girls won't be bringing no bastards home to feed Ernestine. That's because when nobody fuck them.
That's perfect timing, perfect delivery by her.
Yeah.
She put on that F. Incredible.
She meant it. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're going through because I'm with you. That's just not in the present, This country don't like niggas so bad they'll rent to a leper before they rent to a nigga. Dollar straight, dollar box.
School, what you got?
I'm really gonna have to figure out a way of getting some bread together and getting the fuck out of this country. Oh yeah, how you gonna do that? I don't know yet. Tish can't swim. You ready for this? I've never been more ready for anything in my whole life. And the last one I have is there ain't enough hours in a day or judges on the bench to try all the cases brought against these men. The game has been rigged and the courts see it through. The trial is their right, but to bury you beneath the prison for forcing the judge and the DA to do their jobs is the court's right too. They be killing us, man. They kill us. And I think this movie does a great job of not giving you that happy ending. I mean, you know, I'm not necessarily looking for one, but sometimes you do got to hear the truth. It's somebody right now locked up, didn't do shit.
Yeah,
I mean, we see it every day. It's somebody new on Twitter or Facebook suing the police because he did 30 years for a crime he didn't commit. DNA, man. It's a bad motherfucker.
Yeah. I expected the ending, so I think it wasn't a major blow. I said it earlier. I think the film did a real good job of balance of keeping hope along with, you know, the pain. I think there were a lot of hopeful moments. Every time she went to go see him, there was hope in those conversations and things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just happy. I guess I'm a long way of saying I'm happy it wasn't worse than what it was.
Yeah.
You know, I'm happy for that part. But yeah, still very messed up. As far as quotes, School, you said one earlier, unbow your head, sister. When Joe was calling Frank on the phone to tell him to come over, take to the phone and say, hey, Nipsey Russell. Obviously, Nipsey Hussle got his name from Nipsey Russell, who was an actor, comedian. I just wanted to shout that out. R.I.P. Nip. I don't remember that we ever had any curiosity concerning each other's bodies. Fonnie loved me too much. And that meant that there had never been any occasion for shame between us. We were a part of each other, flesh of each other's flesh, which we so took for granted that we never even thought of the flesh. Just
Bars.
that's the type of love that you know what I'm saying? That's the type of shit that make me want to get in a relationship. You know what I'm saying? Dropping bars like that, man. Get on stage with smack. Straight bars. My girls ain't bringing no bastards. Oh, you already said that one, Rachel. If you trusted love this far, don't panic now. Trust it all the way.
That's right.
The very last quote I have. They say we got to live the life we've been given and live it so our children can be free. Parent sacrifice.
That's it.
I mentioned the earlier one that when Frank and Joe were talking in the bar, but just especially in our community, just the things that parents sacrifice for their children to make a better world. And I think about, especially with us, you know, my pops and moms was born in the 50s. Pops early 50s, mom late 50s. Grew up in the 60s. Like it like they were walking around talking when Black people still couldn't vote. You get what I'm saying? So it's not like that far removed.
Absolutely.
So when I think about growing up in a time like that, it just boggles my mind. But it's not too far away. But if they didn't do what they did during that time period, you know, we couldn't be sitting here probably, you know, talking about a movie like Beale Street Could Talk.
Yeah.
So each generation, I think, even though we still have a long way to go, and it's still the system's fucking fucked up and the game is rigged, but it's much more tolerable than it has been from generation to generation. And a lot of that is to do with our ancestors, with our parents, with making sure y'all gonna be in some kind of better situation than I was. So
yeah,
I think it's a love letter to love. I think it's a love letter to those, you know, the Black community, those ancestors and all of that, because it's so relatable between us.
Yes.
Scene Stealer. One of y'all can go first. I ain't going first on this.
Go ahead, Ray. Who you got?
Brian Tyree Henry.
School.
I'm gonna say Brian Tyree Henry.
I got Brian Tyree Henry too.
I got Aunjanue Ellis as a close second, but yeah, Brian.
Aunjanue Ellis was there. Pedro Pascal was there.
Yeah.
His scene didn't move me enough. His acting did, but the scene itself compared to the other two, it was real this close to getting Aunjanue, but Brian Tyree just came through and just that emotion. He's like I said, that Black man moment. It was so relatable to me.
Yeah.
Things that bother you?
I kind of already said it, but really just Sharon making it worse.
Yeah, because you gotta Sharon, if you go down there on that shit trying to get her back to change her story, you gotta be on some Raquel Thomas shit from Raising Cane's.
Yeah.
You gotta be on some gangster shit. You can't be on some I'm trying to relate to you, because that's you in too deep. But that was the way it was acted. I know that actor was on Snowfall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Miss Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
She was in the early season of Snowfall, but they killed that scene as far as her acting.
Yes.
Oh man, it was incredible. Cultural moments, the whole damn movie. Whole damn movie, man. It started off with Get the Good Glasses. I don't know if that's every culture, but I know for sure that there's some regular shit and there's some good shit.
Yes.
And we all know the difference. We know what to use, what not to use. Them hand towels in the bathroom, all types of shit.
All
that's a cultural thing. The whole movie is a cultural moment. Any actors from The Wire? Nope. Soundtrack. Rachel, you mentioned it earlier. If you love music, in the score, you can hear it. It's just incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Wouldn't let that happen to me. I don't have anything.
What would be preventable?
The game is rigged. It is what it is.
Facts.
School, you got any trivia for us?
Part of the filming of this film took place at St. Nicholas Avenue, which Barry Jenkins, the director, knew well for having lived in the corner, on the corner of 145th Street for a long time. The first trailer was released on August 2nd, 2018, which would have been the 94th birthday of James Baldwin. Sound is very important to Barry Jenkins, who is a student of sound engineer Roger Portman. During his film studies, the latter is known to have development with Robert Altman, the multi-track device. The director details the work done by O'Neill Blank, the sound editing supervisor, and Matthew Walters, the mixer, his re-recordings. The title is a reference to the 1916 W.C. Handy Blues song, Beale Street Blues, named after Beale Street in downtown Memphis, Tennessee. The song is on Louis Armstrong's album, Louis Armstrong Plays W.C. from 1954.
Man, you about to make me Margot Robbie you again.
Why?
Why you just they call Beale Street Beale Street?
Beale Street?
Yeah, you said Bell.
Damn, my bad, man.
Hey, man.
It's the movie title.
Y'all know what it is.
It's the movie title, man. Beale Street.
All right, man. I'm done. Go ahead, man.
All right, man. Average viewer rates this film 7.1 out of 10. Too high, too low, just right. Ray P, what you got?
Too low. 9.
School, what you got?
I got 8.7.
I'm at 8.5. I'm at 8.5. So, with that being said, I think we got it all out. Anything I'm missing? All right.
Shout out and love to everybody behind the wall. Hope
that's real. Yeah, that is 100% real. 100% real. I know that Fonny's performance was based off of Khalif Browder. You know, if you know that story, that's heartbreaking.
Man.
So where Stephen pulled from to get that character when he was behind bars. You know, so love to everyone behind bars, especially. Well, just love to everyone. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Obviously, this was as lighthearted of an episode, but a great episode nonetheless. A great film. Hopefully, everybody does check it out. And if you like it, then go read the novel. The novel is incredible. By the legendary, the iconic, the unexplainable James Baldwin.
Yes.
My dad interviewed him.
For real?
Well, he used to work for one of the news stations back home.
Hey, that's what's up.
Damn, I got questions for you. We'll talk about that off air. But for everybody out there, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget about the new release episode we dropped on this feed. You can check that out. Don't forget about We Got Y'all. Check out our link tree in the episode description. Click on that. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. Send us DMs. We will respond to you. Give us your feedback on what you like, what you don't like, what movies you want to hear, what TV shows you want covered, the whole 9. And now that we're at the end of the episode, literally once you hit end or stop this push pause, just go ahead and tap a rating for us. Leave a review if you can. If you're on YouTube, subscribe, leave a comment so we can see. We want to subscribe, build this community. We appreciate y'all letting us come back each week to do what we do. With that being said, y'all be cool. How y'all be cool?
Peace.
Bye.